Hey there, YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger, and I'm here to tell you today you need to check out the brand new television series Live Aid When Rock and Roll Took on the World. So I watched the first episode. There's three of them that have been aired. The fourth one is going to be aired on August 3rd. So just coming up in a couple of days. You can get this wherever there's good quality streaming. I think this is a Amazon Prime Video. Bob Geldof I would say Geldof is a media darling. He's the type of guy that that's Michael Hutchence, but he's the type of guy that, yes, he is a public figure known as a rock and roller, but there's more to it than that because of his involvement with charity work. Oh, here he is playing Pink Floyd, The Wall. This movie made by a director named Alan Parker and Roger Waters basically tried to have an album, a concert, and then a movie, three-faceted thing for The Wall. And the movie, Roger was never happy with it. Anybody involved with it was never happy with it. But for what it is, and I gotta say, I don't think they could have had anybody else. I know Waters wanted to do it. He wanted to act himself, and I shouldn't laugh. I would have been the same way. But thank goodness they got Geldof because he's great in Pink Floyd The Wall. And also, that must be Alan Parker. Also, he had a band called Boomtown Rats, and they had somewhat of a hit with this I Don't Like Monday song. It was about a real early school shooting. So Geldof is an Irish guy. He's tall, he's skinny. I would say he's a good-looking guy. Hey, how do you like them apples? So, the media darling thing, like here, this is probably the day when they finished recording the first piece of music.
Yeah. So they only got together one day.
Yeah, and they had to print the record at 8 o'clock the next morning. Oh, is that Geldof?
Yeah.
Okay, there he is with Phil. And who's that?
So that's Gary Kemp's brother, Martin Kemp.
Okay, who's she?
That's I think Karen from Bananarama.
Who's she?
That's not she. That's Marilyn. He's a guy.
Uh,
He's Boy George's friend.
who's he?
He, I believe, I don't know. I think he's from Boomtown Rats. He's from Status Quo. That's Jody Watley. That's a girl, Siobhan, I think, from Bananarama. And next to her is
Okay,
the other
we
girl.
don't say banana rama.
Then Sarah from Bananarama is next to Marilyn. That's I think he's from either Boomtown Rats. That's I think Simon Le Bon. That's the guy Greg from Heaven 17. That's Tony Hadley from Spandau Ballet. That's Paul Young, I think. John Taylor from Duran Duran. I can't tell.
Okay, who weren't you crushing on in this
I
photo?
wasn't crushing on anybody.
Okay,
I
I
think
know
he's
you liked
from-
him. Where's Gary Kemp? Anyway, yeah.
I wasn't crushing on Gary Kemp, but he's famous.
Who's he?
That's John Taylor.
Uh, okay.
Hello.
I'm not even going to mention
Yeah, the
that.
other guy on the left, I think he's from Spandau Ballet. I can't remember. I don't know who.
And Geldof.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Is that Trevor Horn, possibly? I don't know.
That's Trevor Horn.
Yeah. Bono, Paul Weller. That's a guy from Kool and the Gang.
Cool, and the gang's here.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. He looks like Burl Ives. George Michael, Andy Taylor, John Moss from
Now, wait a minute.
Culture Club.
Andy Taylor's there.
Yeah. Midge I don't.
Isn't Andy Taylor in Duran Duran?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 3 Taylors in Duran Duran. That's John from Culture Club. Sting.
Sting.
That's the guy from Status Quo. Rick is one of the names.
Another Duran Duran.
Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran. That's I think his name's Johnny Fingers or whatever, or maybe something like that. Something from Boomtown Rats. Roger Taylor, the drummer.
Right.
There's Gary Kemp. I don't remember who that is.
He's a good looking guy, Gary Kemp.
Yeah, and
That's my buddy Gary.
That's all I know. Yeah.
And who's in?
I don't know.
Gary Kemp.
The guys from Heaven 17 or Spandau Ballet or Boomtown Rats, I don't know them all.
I made some unbelievably mean-spirited, sarcastic comment towards a person named Guy Pratt. And it was such a clever thing the way I worded it. You could kind of take it two different ways. But I was really because I can't stand Guy Pratt.
Yeah, we know.
I really can't stand that guy. Because he was really lucky to get this job that he had, and then he mocked the person whose job he took. He made fun of them in a mean-spirited, bullyish manner. And when I saw him doing that job, he didn't pay respect to the role that the original guy played in that band. He was booty shaking. He completely changed it to a disco bass. He wasn't honoring the original bass lines, and he kept jumping around and booty shaking and like trying to call attention to himself. And I mean, it's Pink Floyd. You don't booty shake in Pink Floyd. But I made this joke about Guy Pratt, and this guy came and hearted it. And it was really him. And I was like, some guy, Gary Kemp. And my wife was like, Gary Kemp? And I'm like, yeah. And it turns out he's from
Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, he's in Nick Mason's band.
And he's been in like acting, I think, too. You know?
I admit I didn't know who he was, but I know who he is now. This I hope you enjoyed that time with Gopti. Thank you, Gopti, for playing Who's That Star from I Love the 80s. So basically, Geldof saw something that really disturbed him. And he had an idea to try to do something, and he called his friend Midure from Ultravox. And this is in the 80s when like everything was really changing fast, and music technology was synthesizers, samplers, rack mount, studio processing gear, sequencers, drum machines, synthesizers, and oral exciters like a treble unit to make the mix really bright. And there are a lot of really bright mixes from the 80s. So this was a super exciting time. At the time, I really didn't appreciate a lot of that stuff because I'm a guitar guy, and I was really into Pink Floyd. But despite the fact that they overplayed a lot of this music, I can't tell you how many times I heard Sweet Dreams Are Made of These by the Eurythmics. And one thing goes to another, The Fix, Tainted Love. What's that, Tainted Love?
I said one thing leads to another.
Yeah. Who's the band of Tainted Love?
Soft Cell?
Yeah. So by the time Live Aid came around, because, okay, they did the record, then they did a concert, and like Geldof continued in that vein. I know in 2005 they did this thing called Live 8, and he got a hold of the guys from Pink Floyd when they were all still alive, and they did a Pink Floyd reunion, which was like, to me, it was like the most significant reunion in the history of music, was that Pink Floyd thing. And it was really good. It was wonderful. I remember just crying watching it. They sounded phenomenal. And I know they raised a lot of money. So this series is going to cover quite a bit of ground. I've only seen the first issue dealing with the single. This record is called a single, excuse me. I've only seen the first episode, and I'm highly recommending this because I like Geldof. I really do. This story is super interesting. They're going to eventually address the concert, which was just unbelievable. I mean, at the time, I was really prejudiced against synthesizer bands, and I made fun of that music. I was really down for it for one reason, because I wanted to see Led Zeppelin reunion. Now, I remember like hearing the first band that kicked it off. It was like this, like a pub band. Like these guys were guitar rockers. They were a little older. They were called Status Quo, and they had them open the show. And like that was so cool to hear these older guys who were like road dogs. They were seasoned, playing this stuff that started out as like, just regular generic Chuck Berry riffs, and how they had honed that into this pub rock. It was, I mean, the actual document of Live Aid, the concert, it's massive. It's a ridiculously long thing. But culturally, I would say this is like the most important musical moment, I would say, ever. This is like the pinnacle. There is a moment in this thing when Queen got up there and just Queen was so much better than any of the other performers. It was just like it was their festival. And there's a moment in there where Freddie Mercury sings a call and response scat thing, and the sincerity and the power and the silence in between the notes, how perfectly he's able to deliver this series of vocalizations, how the crowd with the enthusiasm, it's simply put the finest, most amazing concert moment I have ever witnessed. And that's in this Live 8 thing that, like I said, I was snack talking it because it was too much soft sell and Mexican radio and all that stuff. So, times have changed. There's a movie called Urgh, Urghh. Urgh is the name of the movie. Urgh, A Music War. It's a documentary, and that's like 80s, totally 80s. That's become one of my favorite concert films to watch. So you got your life, your homework, your life's all planned out for you now that you checked in with Petey. Definitely put this on your watch list. This new Live Aid, when the rock and roll took on the world. Absolutely worth your time. Really entertaining stuff, harkening back to the most magical moment of the 80s, if you ask me. That really was something else. And I know I've been to some stuff, and one of the things that was the most unbelievable thing I ever witnessed was when I went to this Christian event called Promise Keepers, and it was expensive. My brother offered to give me a ticket, and I went with him, and it was at Chicago Stadium where the Chicago Bears play or whatever, Soldiers Field. And I've only been there, I saw Pink Floyd there, and then I was there for Promise Keepers. And it's massive. Soldier Field is ridiculous, and it was full of people. And these people, sometimes you'll go to church on Sunday and see people aren't really singing, or they're tired, or look like, maybe you can tell, like, well, this guy, he's there because he wants to keep his wife happy. He's not singing the songs. He looks like he'd rather be anywhere there but there. But when I was at Promise Keepers, it wasn't like that. It seemed like everybody there really wanted to be there. And the worship was really good because a lot of times in the worship, it'll just be the people that are on the worship team that are participating. This wasn't like that. Everyone was really singing the songs. They were really into it. And you could really feel something going on. They call that mass hysteria. And then other people, they call that the Holy Spirit, or they say it's the Lord. So at the midpoint, or maybe it was the final day, they did a simulcast, and they hooked us up via I don't know how they did this because there wasn't lag. It was just insane. Unless we were watching a pre-recorded thing. I don't know. But we saw on the screen what was Atlanta. They had another Promise Keepers going on in Atlanta. And without any lag, both of the bands played the same. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it, but we were watching on the Jumbotron on the screens, and what was coming out of the PA was Atlanta. And so this worship, it was like, I forget how many people, amount of people. It was a exorbitant number of people, all praising God, singing the same song. And I never felt anything like that. It was really something unbelievable. So there you go. There is something to be said about when you gather more than two together in his name, he will be there. Well, when there was that many people, he really was there. He was there, his son was there, and the Holy Spirit was there, and they were all working overtime. All right, you guys. I hope I didn't scare you off with that. I know what I felt. I know what's real, and I know what's in my head, and that was real. So, I hope you're still with me. Check this Live Aid when rock and roll took on the world. Don't miss that. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. Hug your pets. That's the most important thing. And peace.